Hello everybody, welcome back to our channel Sugar Engineering Committed to Excellence. I hope you are doing great. Today we will discuss about the topic what is cavitation in the pump. In this topic we will cover what is cavitation, the reasons for cavitations and how to prevent cavitation. So let's start our video. What is cavitation? When the vapor bubbles are created inside the pump and subsequent collapsing of these bubbles inside the pump takes place, then this phenomenon is known as cavitations. Means this is the suction of the pump, and at the eye of the impeller the bubbles formation is taking place. So when these bubbles collapse, the phenomena of cavitation takes place. The collapsing of bubbles creates a very high pressure jet and a shock wave inside the pump. This will result in high noise and high vibration in the pump. As shown in this figure, the phenomena of cavitation is taking place. So there is vibration, also there is a high noise in this pump. The cavitation also erode our impeller. They also shown here, it damaged our impeller. In other words, we can see that cavitation is the formation of bubbles at the pump inlet followed by the sudden collapse of these bubbles, which can cause permanent damages to our impeller and the casing. The NPSH margin value must be positive to avoid cavitation. Means the NPSH should always be positive. What is NPSH? We have discussed in our previous video. You can check into our channel. To understand this, we have two cases, case 1 and case 2. As the fluid flows through the pump, it experiences steadily decreasing pressure along the flow path. If the pressure at the inlet falls below the vapor pressure of the fluid, the bubble formation will take place at the inlet. Means when our fluid flow through the suction, the pressure drop takes place at the eye of the impeller. If at this eye the vapor pressure is higher than the suction pressure, then the formation of bubbles takes place. And when it at the discharge point, the pressure of the pump increases, so this vapor collapse and create a phenomena of cavitation. Let's understand case 1. As at the suction, this is the inlet pressure of the pump at the eye of the impeller. Here the suction pressure is higher than the vapor pressure. This is the vapor pressure, so here there will be no cavitation take place. And in second case, this is the suction pressure and this is lower than the vapor pressure. This is the vapor pressure and the suction pressure is lower than, means the pressure at suction is lower than the vapor pressure. So in second case, means in this case the cavitation or the bubble formation will take place. There are many reasons of the bubble formation. I will explain you. So let's look at this image. Here there are the two things, means the bubble formation at the surface. This is the surface or the casing, or also the surface of the impeller, and this is the middle, means in the casing. When the vapor collapses far from the surface as shown in case 1, it will crack a shock wave inside the pump. Means when these bubbles collapse, there will be a shock wave absorbed in this case. And when vapor collapses near the surface, the pressure jets hit the surface with pressure in range of 10,000 psi to 15,000 psi. Means when the bubbles collapse at the boundary, then it will create a very heavy shock that causes the erosion, and this pressure is equal to 10 to 15,000 psi. So damage by cavitation, as shown here in this figure, you can share in this impeller. These are the some damage by cavitation. This damage at the surface of the impeller and the pump housing, the damage done by such bubbles is shown as in the photos. You can see that the harmless and the some bubbles can make your pump completely out of service. We all know that when liquid boiled, the vapor start appearing in the liquid. Then how does liquid boiled in the pump? So to understand this, each liquid has its boiling point. If you reduce the pressure, the boiling point get lowered, and if you increase the pressure, the boiling point also higher. Means the boiling point, the boiling temperature directly proportional to the pressure. Means if we decrease the pressure, then the boiling temperature of any fluid also decreases. So what does it mean? Means the liquid start boiling at lower temperature if you reduce the pressure. The same thing happens inside the pump when the pressure falls below the liquid's vapor pressure. It start boiling and create vapor bubbles. When the bubbles reach the higher pressure zone with the pump, it get collapsed. You can easily identify whether a pump is cavitating by sound it makes. If you listen to sound that make you think that gravels are getting pumped, then it is a clear sign of cavitation. Other than this, high vibration is also the indicator of the cavitation. Means at this eye of the impeller, as bubble formation is taking place, and at the outlet there will be higher pressure at the outlet. At this point the collapse of the bubbles takes place. Now discuss what are the reasons of the cavitations. Number 1 is vaporization of liquid in a pump. It is the biggest reason of the cavitation. As explained earlier, if the pressure inside the pump falls below the vapor pressure, the liquid start boiling and the creating vapor. Means as it was the case 1 and it was case 2, here the suction pressure falls below the vapor pressure and the formation of bubbles takes place. To do this, you must keep enough head at the suction of the pump. As a thumb rule, the NPSH should always be 3 feet more than the NPSH required. Number 2 reason is recirculation. The recirculation in the pump happens when the discharge is restricted. When a liquid cannot exit the pump, it starts recirculating in the pump, and by recirculating the liquid, the temperature rises and which create the vapor bubbles in the pump. Number 3 is the improper gap between the impeller and the pump housing. As you shown this figure, this is the pump housing, or also we can say that this is the pump casing and this is the impeller. If the gap between the impeller and the pump housing is very low, it will lead to cavitation when the liquid passes through this gap at very high velocity. Number 4 is air ingress. If a pump is running at lower pressure than the atmospheric pressure, then there is a chance of air ingress in the pump from any pour point. This air will create the same cavitation effect in the pump. Number 5th or the last is the turbulence or vortex. It occurs in the flowing liquid due to various design related reasons in the piping system. If this vortex is formed near the pump section, it will have the same effect as lower NPSH or negative NPSH. Also you can see the various potential problems that comes if cavitation is prolonged in the pump. Number 1 is vibrations, high noise in the pump. Number 3, it also decreases the efficiency of the pump. There will be reduction in flow rate and the head of the pump. The physically damage to the impeller or the pump housing, leakages of pump seals, and the last is problem with the alignment. Now there is the question that how to prevent the cavitation. So there are many things that helps to avoid or minimize the cavitation in the centrifugal pump. Number 1 is to make sure that the pump has enough suction head. As already said that your NPSH value or the NPSH available at the pump suction should always be more than the NPSH required with enough safety margin. The thumb rule was safety margin of the 3 feet. This will ensure that no vaporization will occurs at the suction of the pump. Means the NPSH value is greater than the NPSH available to the difference of NPSH available and the NPSH required. Number 2, proper design of the pump impeller so that the clearance between the pump and the pump housing and the impeller will be good enough to avoid heating of the liquid. Number 3, don't run the pump with a restricted flow to avoid recirculation. Number 4, if the pump is running below the atmospheric pressure, make sure that there is no air ingress. And the number last is the proper pumping system design, which helps you to avoid the vortex and prevent air accumulation at the suction. For example, using the eccentric reducer with flat side at the top as shown in this figure. Sometimes the flat side, or we use this flat side at the bottom, which is the incorrect method. So we have to use the flat side at the top and the inclined side at the bottom. We have to use the eccentric reducer in place of the concentric. Means these are the eccentric reducers and these are the concentric reducer. So we have to prefer the eccentric reducers. So thanks for watching our video. Like and subscribe our channel for more videos. Thanks for watching.